Please subscribe to The Old Fools, listen to it, and tell all your friends. We need all the friends and listeners we can get.
You can subscribe, whatever that is, and tell people about it. Or don't. I don't give a shit.
And if you have any questions or queries or comments you'd like to make, you can email oldfoolspod@gmail.com.
Hello, my name is David Quantick, and I am one of the many hosts of The Old Fools, the finest podcast in the land. Not only have I got regular idiot Ian Martin with me, but I'm also delighted and stunned to have as our co-host the fantastic Jenny Landreth.
Hello, David. I am Jenny Landreth. I am a writer and a script editor, and I can travel around London for free after 9 a.m. That's one amazing thing about me.
Would you like to introduce Ian, or should we just carry on?
Yeah.
Oh, sure. Oh, I was wondering. What am I to fucking
Oh, he's introduced himself. Swearing, writhing.
Your co-host. Yes, Jenny, welcome as our apparently co-host.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm just an old man who does this with David Quantick. What are you saying? You're going to ride around London on a bike?
God's sake.
I mean, this just really doesn't bear repeating, but I can
That's what you think.
travel around London after 9 a.m. on the bus.
Are you a bus driver?
Do you know, I'd love to be a bus driver. I'd be a great bus driver.
You would, actually.
I would.
What qualities do you think would commend you in the role of bus driving?
The thing I would do is I would wait for people who looked nice if they were running towards me trying to get the bus.
Right, and then just run over anyone who didn't look nice.
Oh, anybody I didn't fancy the look of, that would be it. Doors would be shut and I'd be off.
Can you do the look of contempt when someone can't find their purse?
Can I do the look of contempt? Hello, David. Was I married for 30 years? Yes, I can do a look of contempt.
For those listening at home, Jenny is now giving us a look of contempt.
Those listening at home, Jenny is single and dating.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you for joining us this week. See you next time.
Yeah. On the Old Fools podcast, a podcast for people who hate podcasts and themselves. You know, the General Synod's meeting today, the Church of England.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, you're late already, mate. Yeah. And the Bishop Rick of Lichfield won't wait.
Let's say that we do know the General Synod is meeting today.
Well, I've just told you, so we all do know, don't we? It's starting today, and one item on the agenda is the election of a new Archbishop of Canterbury, because the last one wasn't really much cop, was he?
No, he was appalling.
So I wonder who might be the next Archbishop of Canterbury.
The Pope.
Not the Pope. That
crossover.
Would be
good. Just job share. He could do it. He's got the gear.
I think we should do, they should let the public choose.
Exactly.
And the way we do that is by a reality TV show.
Exactly my thought. Exactly that.
I've got sanctity. Get me out of here.
Like gladiators.
Like Gladys, or like Strictly Come Dancing.
Strictly Come Bishoping.
No, gladiators, but with real weapons and everything.
Oh,
so it's like
okay.
a proper physical, mental exercise. And they'd all have names like The Exorcist.
Shouldn't they have to fight like St. George? Maybe the next candidate should fight a dragon on gladiators.
Well, that'd be one way to get rid of dragons, wouldn't it? I mean, they are a bit of a fucking pest, aren't they?
I've got to be honest, though. I mean, if you were a betting person and you had to bet against a dragon or a candidate for the Archbishop of Canterbury, I would bet on the dragon.
Maybe we should make a dragon the Archbishop of Canterbury.
That would be amazing.
Wouldn't it?
I mean, we'd all go to church. I go to church. If it was led by a dragon and the chances of not coming out singed were high, I would definitely go to church.
That is an issue.
The sermons would be amazing, wouldn't they? You'd just go, I
just imagine the headline. Archbishop of Canterbury says, royal visit terminated as Archbishop of Canterbury burns king to death.
The king. Don't get me started on the fucking king. I mean, they're all in it together, aren't they, really? I mean, the king's going on about wanting to be defender of all faiths. Did you know that turn of the century, which feels like yesterday, but was actually a quarter of a century ago, 70% of people identified as Christians in this country. I mean, obviously identify in the sense of what I'm C of E, when they're not really, who cares, but only 45% now. That's a massive drop, it seems to me. So if he's the defender of all faiths, then the leading faith is atheism, I would have thought. So maybe we need an atheist as the Archbishop of Canterbury, sack the king altogether. And item 2.
We started off with "Don't get me on the king," and nobody actually wanted you to talk about the king. And now we're on to fucking item 2 on your agenda.
I want to know what item 2 is. Yeah.
Item 2 on my synod agenda.
Yeah, go on.
I'm glad you get a free bus, Jenny, because it's really not be worth you coming in. Anyway, carry on, Ian. Number 2.
What are they going to do with all the churches now that no one's going to church, or very few people are going to church? And it seems to me, I mean, if I could be serious for a moment, they ought to turn churches into what they once were, which is places of sanctuary. So anyone who wants to live here and is threatened with deportation should be able to just march into a church and be safe. The vicar ought to be able to tell the Home Office to fuck off, in my view.
But I kind of feel like I thought that from my childhood. That if you went into a church, that was it. Nobody could come in and get you.
They'll get you.
That's like, it's like quicksand or so, those things that you believed as a child.
It probably was true then.
But there's ways of doing it now, because basically, let's say that you are a refugee on the run or someone, you run into a C of E church, ask for sanctuary, then the police or whoever it is these days come along. First thing that happens is that 2 busty middle-aged ladies approach and ask you to put a penny coin into a box. You then reply, "I don't have a penny coin." They say, "Well, why don't you have a look? I'm sure you've got..." And after a while, then they ask you to contribute to a fund. You then ask to sit down and be quiet for a moment because there's some kind of weird church thing. And after about half an hour of this, you presumably give up and go and harass somebody else. And that's how sanctuary works in the modern church.
I volunteered to be one of those middle-aged women.
You'd be great. Should we move on to item 3 on Ian's agenda, or would somebody else like to do something?
Down the pub. Item 3. That's it. Any other business? No. Move on.
The things I've been thinking about this week are all to do with, because, we're all boomers, right? And when my kids started calling me a boomer, I was really offended. And then I thought, I've just got to not be offended because it's a matter of fact.
Yeah.
So I've decided to lean in to my boomerdom. So I'm really aggravated by things like people's headlights are too bright. That aggravates me. I think that's a boomer thing. People don't indicate when they're driving. That annoys me.
It's very annoying.
People, then in France, they fined somebody €150 for having their phone on speaker, which I thought,
oh, that's great.
These are my people.
That's good.
These are my people.
Maybe you're French.
Maybe I'm French. Because also they've banned SUVs in some places, which I think would be amazing.
Yeah.
So anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start my own podcast. I've had a brilliant idea. I'm going to start my own podcast and I'm going to call it, and it works better written down, but go with me, Boomerangst.
Boomerangst. Love
Boomerangst.
it. Like boomerang, but with angst.
Yeah.
It's great. It's a portmanteau word. It sums, and it's the kind of thing that only a boomer would understand, because kids today can't read nor write.
So I'm resting on my laurels now for the next 10 years with the invention of Boomerangst.
I would love to be on it.
You can't read the stuff on the back of packets because the letters are too small.
And when you do, it's something like, "We've sprinkled this with fairy dust and booby powder. Oh, I guffed."
Or they address you in the first person singular, saying, "I'm a delicious mix of noodles and tartar sauce. Don't forget to recycle me."
It was when fucking innocent smoothies, and to be honest, there's a clue in the name, innocent. Why not call yourself Go Fuck Yourself Smoothies? When they started having vans with AstroTurf on the side.
Oh, yeah. And now they sell the little bottles with a little bobble hat on the top.
A little bobble hat.
A little knitted bobble hat.
Now, all right, returning with a sharp turn, I'd love to be on this Boomerangst thing, because I've got a whole list of driver-related things. And one of, probably there's about 5, it's things like, when someone's driving with the window open, resting your elbow on the outside. What the hell is going on with that? Drive properly.
I do that sometimes, though, when I want to feel a bit macho, when I want to feel a bit like, I've got my vest top on, I'm drinking drinking a beer, I've got some country music on.
What, you drive around drinking beer and listening to...
It just sounds like hell on wheels, literally hell on wheels. A can of Kestrel and fucking country and western.
I'm sorry about this, but I have to tell a story now, briefly, no names. I once did a radio show. Blah had requests, had a guest on from Northern Ireland, won't name him. And he said, I'm going to play Johnny Cash because it reminds me of my dad. And I said, why? He said, when I was a kid, my dad would drive around on his way to work and he'd always play Johnny Cash on the way to a job. And I said, what did your dad do then? He said he was a loyalist hitman. So, be careful, Jenny, with your driving.
I mean, I don't really drive around drinking a beer with a vest on, but I do sometimes like to kind of be that guy.
Stretch out a bit. Just stretch
out
out a bit.
Look how relaxed I am. Yeah.
That's very relaxed.
That peevish old man from Hastings behind you,
Yeah.
giving you all that on the horn.
With his flat cap on and
with his fucking little hat on.
Yeah, I mean, there's the elbow thing. There's, moving about too much in the car. Having a conversation. I really hate it when you see someone's head in profile and they're at a light and they haven't gone through because they're yakking to their friend.
Oh.
Stop talking to your friend and drive.
Has it occurred to you that what you actually hate is everything to do with the human race?
It's slowly sinking in, I must admit.
Anyway, I've got a little theme tune for you, your Boomerangst podcast.
So I don't have to not even pay you money for it?
No, because I've ripped it off from the old Charlie Drake standard called My Boomerang Won't Come Back. You remember?
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, the hilarious and racist Charlie Drake song.
Racist, anti-Semitic, don't forget that.
Oh, God, yeah, right, it is as well.
He really packed it in. He really packed it in.
Shoveled it right in. Anyway, this one's called My Boomerangst Will Come Back.
Love it.
Ready?
I'm ready.
My boomerangs will come back. My boomerangs will come back. I threw the bastard out of sight. The axe comes back, gives me a fright. No wonder that my chest feels tight. My boomerangs. Oh fuck no! It's a heart attack.
God, Hans Zimmer is just crying now. He's got Murray Gold is going. I can't believe it. The late John Barry has returned from the dead. That's the theme song, is it?
Yeah.
I don't know if you're laughing or crying, Ian. I think you might be actually crying because you might have just actually had a heart attack.
He actually had a heart attack, yeah.
That is honestly the worst thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, me too.
I can't describe it. Do you know that I wrote a song this week? Quite a good segue, actually, because once again, Cybertrucks have been in the news. They've made it. They are now the number one cause of driver fatality, vehicle-wise, beating, apparently, the Ford Pinto, which I don't really know what that is, but it doesn't sound like the most lethal car in the world.
Yeah.
Whereas the Cybertruck it's got a quite high death rate for drivers. So I made up a song, and because Ian tends to do these epically long lists every week where no one gets a word in, I've made it really long. Right, so it's to the tune of Spider-Man and it goes. Can I do the song?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Cybertruck does whatever a cyberfuck, drives about on the roads, then it suddenly explodes. Look out, here comes a Cybertruck. Cybertruck, looks like Lego drawn by a duck. Other drivers call it names, then it bursts into flames. Look out, here comes a Cybertruck. Then there's a bridge, which I should have got Ian to do. Is it fast? You're having a laugh. It corners like the cenotaph. Should I buy one? Are you balmy? Save it for your clown car army. Look out, here comes a Cybertruck. There's one more verse. Cybertruck, built by robots high on smack. Vorsprung Dirk, they're smoking crack. Look out, here comes a Cybertruck. There you go.
Some nice.
Very good. Very nice.
Thank you.
I mean, assonance rather than rhyming there at the end. I mean, smack and truck.
All right, Mr. My Boomerang will come back. I mean, yeah, that rhymed because every single word in it was back.
No, it wasn't. I mean, if we are talking about music, may I be allowed to have a word about jazz?
Yes, you may.
Okay. I mean, I want to clear something up because I've got nothing against jazz as a form of music. I've got nothing against people who pretend to like it or people who play it. It's just I can't stand it. I physically can't stand to listen to it. Remember that Sandra Bullock film, Birdbox?
No.
Great. We're off to a fly. You like stuff.
Birdbox.
Anyway.
Birdbox.
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 Well,
I've never heard of it. I thought you were
I've
going to say
never
something
heard
like
of that film.
while you were
Fucking
sleeping.
Birdbox.
Miss Congeniality.
Okay.
While you were sleeping. Miss Congeniality 2.
Yeah,
Speed.
Speed.
The Heat. Was she in Speed?
Birdbox. And then
Is it a film about gardening and
no.
feeding the birds through the
Far
winter
from it, Jen.
long-
Is it
Far
about
from
Charlie Parker?
Oh my good God. Okay, some entity
All right, let's
is
move
killing
along.
everybody, killing humanity.
What?
If you see it, you have to kill yourself after 2 seconds.
This is Birdbox.
Yeah, Birdbox. It's like mass suicide everywhere.
Okay.
If you see it, you're fucked. That's why she has a blindfold on and takes her children blindfold to a place of safety, we hope. Anyway, it's like that with jazz for me.
Oh,
But
okay.
listening.
Right.
If I have to hear it, my fucking brain melts. I can't stand the sound of it. And people are saying to me, how does a tsunami work? I'll tell you how a fucking tsunami works. A tsunami works. Well, you're in the bath, you've got Radio 3 on, but it's just out of reach. And then someone comes on and says, if it's mellow tenor saxophone you're after, well, we got a treat for you. Because here comes Buddy Fuckhead swinging 6. And you have to get out of the bath so fast, there's a tsunami.
Does this count? Does this mean all forms of jazz
Yes.
from
Yep. Well,
mellow,
no.
mellow big band to
No. Swing is fine. Swing is acceptable. Ella Fitzgerald can take me anywhere she wants. So can Nina Simone within reason. But swing's great. I like swing. Frank Sinatra, all that shit. It's just jazz, the popping jazz. It's prank music. It's fucking prank music. It's like they've opened all the cages in the music zoo and just let them out.
What about Louis Armstrong?
What?
What about?
What's your point?
Come on, following on from your long list of jazz people you don't like. What about Louis Armstrong is not an unreasonable question.
I don't mind him when he's not doing jazz.
Oh, so you like What a Wonderful World and We Have All the Time in the World and any song with a W and the word world in it, but you don't like...
maybe jazz songs are okay. It's just jazz without lyrics that's terrible.
Look, not my words, the words of the Cambridge Concise Encyclopedia. Where is
There's
it?
no such book.
Fucking here it is.
You've had that made.
Jazz, noun. Extremely abstract collective noun. In music, a series of self-validating neurotic episodes enjoyed by a harmless community of musical train spotters who genuinely believe a tenor sax solo is some kind of fucking manifesto. That's what it says in the encyclopedia.
That's amazing.
I take it
believe
all
that.
back.
Yeah.
Until now, I thought Ian was an idiot, a clown, but now the
Yeah.
dictionary has confirmed what he said. I realise that he's right, and jazz
Yeah.
is... All
Yeah.
those people in America making them records, they're fools.
I'll never forget it. I was trapped in this fucking cottage in the middle of Germany.
What?
And
Sorry.
I mean, not as a hostage, but I mean, you could go anywhere. We were touring in Germany, and we had to stay in this cottage in the middle of fucking nowhere. And they had it was all eco and all lights from batteries and everything. Really gloomy. And this cunt said, I refuse to believe that you don't like jazz. You have to listen to the entire whatever. Miles Davis doing some fucking squeaking, honking, popping bullshit for an hour. And it was the most miserable hour of my life.
You make a good point, Ian, oddly, because whenever people say that sentence, I can't believe you don't like, it's always jazz. It's never lasagna or two-tone, is it?
Cocaine or anything.
Never says, I can't believe you
Never
don't like
good.
I can't believe you don't like roast beef, Yorkshire pudding and red wine.
I can't
give me
believe
a
it's
go.
not cocaine.
I don't like jazz either. So I'm with Ian on this. And people always do that thing as like, oh, but you haven't listened to.
Yeah.
And then they'll play something and you go, but this just confirms everything because you just have to sit and listen. And you think, what am I supposed to do with myself? I'm just sitting, listening. So
And then
fucking boring.
yeah. And
You're
it's like,
you're pre-bored
Yeah.
before you even start.
Oh, but wait, there's a flugelhorn.
Oh,
solo
wait. Yeah.
coming.
I
Is
mean,
it-
listen to the way he
unless
does
he's
this.
shoving it up his ass,
Yeah.
I don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
I'd love to do a jazz prank show where you get something because I can't believe you don't like jazz, and then put on a record of seagulls. And they just go, listen to this bit.
Oh my God, jazz seagulls.
Jazz girls.
You heard it here first.
Can we do Kings now, please?
Yeah.
Kings, yeah, sure.
Because you know YouGov, which is not what Ian says.
Oh, not me. Right, okay.
YouGov isn't what Ian says when you say who's the biggest wanker in the room. YouGov is the poll people, and they generally just do depressing political polls about, who's the best, Labour or Conservative, or those annoying ones where they ask people what they think other people think about what people think. But this week they did a proper one. They did who are the most, I don't know why, maybe they've been drinking. They did who are the most popular kings and queens of England and Britain. And apart from quite a lot of ignorance, for example, did you know that 68% of people asked don't know who Henry V is, which is just ignorant. Number one, I'll get to it now, is Elizabeth II, our dearly departed recent queen, who scored 74. I don't know out of what. Victoria's second, George VI, lovely man. And it goes on and on and on and on. And then we get to what I believe they call the arse end. And it's quite impressive. The bottom 5. Charles I, presumably he's unpopular because he had his head cut off and he's a loser.
Very true.
Mary I, on the grounds that no one's quite sure which one she is.
Yeah.
But I think she's the one who was Elizabeth I's sister.
Right, correct.
Edward VIII, quite right. Fucking Nazi. Twat.
Still.
Awful.
Top Anglican
could be a great, like jazz, loved jazz.
Hated green sleeves.
Never used to indicate when he turned right. Oliver Cromwell, who I'm saying is just put in there because he's not a king. All right, he was horrible, just did lots of bad things, not a king. And amazingly, this is just really bizarre. This is political correctness gone mad. This is woke. The least popular monarch, according to YouGov, is Henry VIII. Come on. We love Henry VIII. All right, he executed a lot of people and stuff.
But also, people have heard of him. I mean, people. When you say people haven't heard of Henry V, I mean, people didn't know. I wouldn't say I knew Henry V. So, but people at least know Henry VIII. So you'd imagine he'd get higher points.
Do you think because Henry VIII is on the telly a lot?
I don't think many people watch Wolf Hall, Dave.
Ooh, radical Boomerangst. People who watch Wolf Hall. You don't like it. All the series are the same, and he's not fat. What's that about?
Bloody
Cromwell
BBC.
was a tub. Bloody BBC. Defund it.
I haven't watched it, not because I have any beef against it. I just haven't watched it. So just to clarify, I'm not anti-Wolf Hall. But
my Wolf Hall connection is that Hilary Mantel lived in Budleigh Salterton near my parents. And my dad once said brilliantly out of the blue, Hilary Mantel, she's not liked in Budleigh.
Oh.
They should have put that on the cover of the Mirror and the Light. Not liked in Budleigh. But also, Henry VIII's the only one who had a bit like Boomerang won't come back. But Henry VIII's the only one who had a late 50s, early 60s novelty record named after him, didn't he?
Oh, Henry VIII, it's a musical song.
I'm Henry VIII, I am Henry VIII, I am. I got married to the widow next door. She's been married 7 times before, and everyone wasn't Henry. Henry wouldn't have a Willie or Sam. I'm a eightfold man, I'm Henry. Henry VIII, I am. Henry VIII, I am.
Maybe that's why he came so low in the list, because that song is so dreadful that people went, oh.
I didn't murder
He's
it.
the only
I didn't behead it.
I mean, there isn't sort of like, I'm William IV, I am. I was married to Queen Anne, not the one who was queen before. I am a Dutchman, open the door. Maybe
I'm a Dutchman, open the door. With that, ladies and gentlemen.
You make up a fucking song. It's not about boomerangs then.
It's not a surprise that our queen was our queen. I'm sounding like,
the queen.
She was it's not surprising that she, Elizabeth II, was the most popular.
No.
Because everybody did love her.
Yeah.
Everybody. Even me.
Even you. Even Jeremy Corbyn would go home at the end of the day and say, I'm really sorry I said those things. Into a tiny mug with a picture of Billy Bragg on it. One thing that's bizarre, though, is I remember the outrage when, of all things, Spitting Image, a satirical puppet show of the 1980s, chose to not only portray the Queen Mother, but for some reason give her the voice of Beryl Reid. And the people were up in arms. Were you around then, Jenny? You did Spitting Image. Do you remember this?
I worked at Spitting Image, but I didn't work on the show. So, but yeah, I do remember all the outrages.
You worked at Spitting Image? Were you a
no,
painter?
they had a whole other department of non-puppet shows. They developed a whole load of live action shows, which is what I was in charge of. Yeah.
Well, yeah, there was controversy. The Queen Mother, she'd come on and she'd go, oh, I don't know. And that was the joke, that she talked like Beryl Reid. Right. A massive outrage. Yeah. People were burned at the stake.
A whole complete overreaction then.
Yes, that's right, Ian.
Burning at the stake.
Later on.
That's satire for you.
Later on, is Donald Trump a bit weird? The Old Fools discusses it.
Oh, don't.
Oh, no, he's gone on. I've said the word.
We've done it.
We're not going there. That was a joke about something else.
Okay, but fuck him for a minute. And let's focus briefly on the vice president, that crypto-Jesuit arsehole, J.D. Vance.
J.D. Sports, I call him.
I just wasn't prepared for the, sorry to bring it back to matters of Anglican faith, I just wasn't prepared. The rage and the sadness I felt on Radio 4 on Sunday morning when he said it was defending the defunding of USAID and basically saying that it was perfectly legitimate because it was responsible for spreading atheism in the world. So that's feeding people for you.
Blimey.
And then the next item was this bloody brilliant vicar in Burnley who's set up a needle exchange and a clinic in his church. And there we are. That's Christianity's new schism. I fucking hate them all. By me, everyone, really, but specifically J.D. Vance in this thinking moment.
Well, you don't hate that vicar in Burnley. He sounds like a nice man.
He's terrific. Yeah, he was tremendous.
I mean, hold on. He could be the next bloody Archbishop then. But I think do you have to be bishop first? You see, this is the thing with asking the people who they want. Nobody knows what the hierarchy of the church is.
I think they should give it to a couple.
What, a job share?
Yeah, a couple. Couples are good at accommodation and compromise, aren't they? And
how about David Grant and Carrie Grant off the telly? They're Christians.
That would be nice.
David Grant and
they would make it really stylish as well.
Carrie Grant.
Yeah, I know.
Don't fight it, baby. You and me can make sweet music together. That one.
Oh, God, you've turned into a reply guy from Blue Sky. Yes, there is a woman with the same name as a dead film star. She was called Carrie, and she married a man called David Grant. He used to be in Lynx with Sketch. Do you remember Lynx? You're Lying, Intuition. And then he did reality shows and things. He's a very nice man, apparently. And his wife, Clark Gable.
Okay, what? I can't think of any Christian couples now I'm required to.
Olivia Colman a few years ago, but I think she's gone off the boil.
It would have to be Saoirse Ronan now.
Saoirse Ronan, she's in everything.
She's married to what's his face. They'd be a great couple. They job share archbishops of Canterbury.
Joint archbishops would be brilliant because you wouldn't know which way to look, and they could have one bishop who always tells the truth and one bishop who always lies, and you could have word paradoxes.
Oh, that would be great. I mean, the sermons would be amazing. It's what's his face? It's the Slow Horses guy, isn't it?
Yes, Jack somebody.
Loudon. Jack Loudon.
Yeah. Oh, right, that's nice. They seem like a nice couple.
We know him, Will Smith. Do you
know what my best claim to fame is? That I'm the only person in the world who's worked with both Will Smiths.
What did you do with the Black Will Smith?
With the Black Will Smith, I wrote a commentary for a show called Our Strange Rock. I've forgotten the name of it now, embarrassingly. But yeah, I wrote a nature documentary and got Will Smith to say things like, an eagle is a weaponized telescope. And I worked with Will Smith on... No, that really happened, man. It's there. One Strange Rock or Our Strange Rock.
Yeah, well, I mean, a weaponized telescope is very good.
It's good, isn't it? I was rather proud of that.
Somebody sent me this thing saying, it was Linda Grant. She ordered a new bed from those assholes, Loaf. And they rang to say, been delayed and won't be delivered for another month. Quote, when it arrives, we'll assess the journey you've been on to give you a goodwill gesture. The journey of discontent. The journey of disappointment.
The journey. I mean, journey, I fucking hate that. Journey.
Every fucking meal cooked on telly is a journey.
It's a journey, yeah.
Greg Wallace, I blame.
But they used to do
much.
I can't think whether where I've seen this, but I kind of somehow know it in my mind that there's a new thing of customer care people, and they put up like, my name's Rachel. They have a little picture of Rachel. I'm Rachel. She, her. I like baking cakes and going for a run in the Peak District. And you think, you're a fucking bot.
Yeah,
you
are a bot.
You don't like those things, Rachel. And it doesn't make me feel any better dealing with Loaf or whatever other pile of twats I've got to deal with.
My name is Rachel. I like make human cry.
Yeah.
I wonder how long it is before we actually get to the stage where the chatbot, in response to your complaint, will just say, you do understand, don't you, that I'm not actually human? How the fuck would I know how to fix a boiler? Look it up on YouTube like everybody else and fuck off.
When the world has ended, there will just be chatbots talking to each other. Houses will run, the world will carry on. My name is Arthur. I have ordered some shoes from you. My name is Rachel. Your shoes will never come. Up yours, Rachel. Go fuck yourself, Alan. What I really hate, what's really bizarre, is once upon a time, in Edwardian time, let's say when people lived on below minimum wage, if you ordered something, butcher, send your boy round with some meat cuts. He would come round, and if he didn't arrive on the very second, he would be hanged and sent to Australia. Nowadays, it's like, hello, Amazon, I would like to order some beautiful glass. Certainly, sir. We'll throw it at your fucking door tomorrow morning when you're out and shit on you. Thank you. What a beautiful journey. What happened to responsibility? You order a package, you think, it may not turn up. If it does, it may be smashed. It may go to my neighbour, anything. And all you get is a photograph of a fucking box. Yeah. Oh, good. Yeah. That'll be really useful.
Can I just say, this is a really cheery way to start the week. This is Monday morning.
Yeah.
We're all having a really good old boomer moan about other people's passions and dreams and how much they like themselves, and it disgusts us. And I am here for that.
Well, we look forward to appearing on your podcast.
Yeah.
Boomerangst with Jenny Landreth.
Because basically, me and Ian are two taps marked hot bile and cold bile, and we just want to be turned and gush out into the wash basin of your podcast.
Yeah.
Because that's what
podcasts are for.
That's okay. Everybody loves you, Jenny Landreth, and we are so very grateful that you appeared with us to have a right old fucking moan about everybody apart from us.
I loved it. Thank you.
And occasionally us. I'd like to thank my co-host David Quantick for letting me get a word in edgeways at the end, and our producer Steve Doherty. And we'll see you next week. Please do like, subscribe, review, share, hyperbolize, and whatever the fuck, so we can do this again sometime.
Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.
Don't put that in his vulgar.
Well, it is.
My God. Get it, go.